Hello and welcome to IHub Global and Helium. My name is Anna and I'm going to be taking you through a very short presentation to explain who these companies are, what they do and why that can involve you. The key thing to remember about what you're about to hear is that the person who sent you here isn't sending you here to listen, to make a decision about the legitimacy or the viability of Helium and their business model. And the reason for that is it's already happening around you. This company has not just started, they are very well advanced in deploying their hotspots around the globe today. So the question you're being asked is simply, do you want to be involved or do you want to watch somebody else be involved around you instead? Okay, so the internet is not just for people. What does that mean? Well, you'll all have devices in your possession that connect to the internet via apps that you've paired them with on your phone. Well, how do they work? They often work through something called a low power wide area networking protocol designed to wirelessly connect battery operated or powered things to the internet. So this is the first point at which you'll hear us refer to the Internet of Things. And Helium is the world's largest wireless network. They have been building this since 2017 after they formed their company in 2013 with an analysis of the projected growth of the IoT network revealed the need for a simple global platform that IoT companies could use. And they created a device and a cryptocurrency token and blockchain called Helium that became available in late 2019. Well, cryptocurrency, blockchain, what's that got to do with any of this? Well, we'll look at that in a few moments. So let's take a closer look at the Internet of Things. Well, here you see a list of some examples of the sorts of devices which connect in this way. And you'll likely be familiar with some of these because they help you track the status or location of things, be it pet tracker collars, motion detectors, sensors, or even devices which switch things on or off in your home using an app on your phone or online. And these devices are designed and microchipped to be a part of that network, referred to, as we've said, as the Internet of Things. And they communicate on a frequency which most of us don't even know about, as I explained a few moments ago. The connection is seamless for you and I. But as a business selling that network, what's in it for Helium? Well, there are some global giants already involved and buying credits to use that network. And of course, there are millions of products out there that are already microchipped and using this network. So again, this is not something that you're being asked to assess for viability or legitimacy because it's already happening around us. It's a fact. Right now that market is valued at $800 billion with 8.4 billion devices connected to the wireless network in that way. By 2025 that's a predicted retail value of $2.4 trillion to the company, with over 70 billion devices being connected to the network. Well, again, why Helium? Well, the devices that we mentioned earlier connect to the low power wide area radio network created and maintained by Helium, which in turn communicates that data to the internet for it to be pulled down to the apps on your phone to give you the data and information you require about your connected devices. Most people are not aware of this requirement and this intermediary step or route that the data takes, and why would you? But it's there and Helium provide it. So you can see in this slide exactly how that works. The hotspots hosted by us connect the network and increase that network's reach. The network is only going to be expanded in this manner, and it's happening around us now. In turn, hosts of the hotspots are rewarded and incentivized to maintain their hotspots connectivity to the network via IHub and to refer others to host a hotspot also. So the peer-to-peer network, which is being created by Helium, is part of their ongoing forever business model. There will not be another way that they will expand this network because they have decided that their network is going to be decentralized and owned by the people. That's you and me. So the only way it's going to be expanded is by people hosting hotspots in their area and expanding that network. There are already hundreds of thousands of hotspots out there. So again, just to remind you, this is happening around you. This is not something you're being asked to assess for viability or legitimacy. But I've mentioned cryptocurrency and I've mentioned rewards. So how is that reward measured? And what's HNT, which is used to fund data transfer and reward hosts of these hotspots? Well, to incentivize reward, Helium created their own cryptocurrency, which obviously comes from the value of the product that they sell, but also is traded. So how do you earn it? So participants earn HNT by mining and building coverage of the people's network, Helium, using compatible hotspots. So if we look at this slide here, depending on the type of work that they perform. So obviously you would receive your hotspot, and we'll talk about viability of location in a few moments, but they send out signals to each other within these networked areas, what are called hexagons within terrain across the Helium network, and they send out signals which show proof of coverage. So they send out challenges to which another device responds, and which other devices, and by devices I mean the hotspots on this occasion, will witness and will feed back to the Helium network that these hotspots are alive and are providing the network within that area. They also will relay data, so they earn HNT for transferring device data over the network. The more device data hotspot transfers, the more it owns, alongside that proof of coverage. And then there's consensus groups. A little bit harder to explain, but if you've got any questions about that, we can answer that as well. But trusted hotspots are elected to a consensus group and earn HNT by validating transactions and adding blocks to the blockchain. So simply put, if your hotspot is in a viable location, so it's within a location that it's adding value to the network by expanding the network in the appropriate way, and by appropriate I mean in not an area that is too dense, then it will earn HNT as a reward from Helium for basically showing up, for being switched on and sending and receiving communication signals from other hotspots in the area to help prove that it and those other devices, those other hotspots, are there and functioning on the network and allowing that network to be accessed by devices that would otherwise be connected to the internet via the Internet of Things network, that low power, wide-ranging radio network that we've talked about that these hotspots are also providing. You can see from this article that Helium was voted one of the top 10 most innovative consumer electronics companies in 2020. And take a look at the article as it was produced, obviously a year ago now. Helium for decentralizing the wireless network to connect Internet of Things devices over long ranges. In August 2019, Helium launched a decentralized wireless network in Austin, Texas that extends 200 times further than Wi-Fi. Because of its long range, the network provides connectivity that's ideal for Internet of Things devices because they can send data for far cheaper than a typical cellular plan. Since the launch, Helium has sold out of Helium hotspot units, well, this was at the time a year ago, which look like a small router and plug into your home network, and it has thousands of people on its global waiting list. In 2019, Lime tested Helium's network to track and find scooters, and now Nestle use it to monitor customers' water cooler levels as part of its beverage delivery service, Ready Fresh. And of course, that's a network of companies and businesses, which was pretty much just the start of things for Helium. Again here, Time Magazine Best Inventions of 2019, a new way to connect Helium hotspots when a user buys an IHub from IHub Global. valued at $460. Of course, now with the business model provided free for the reasons that we've explained, they become a communication hub on a peer-to-peer wireless network that connects small, low-powered devices like pet collars and scooter trackers from miles away through long-flight protocol. Decrypt magazine, another magazine distributed widely in the electronics industry. Helium's trial balloon, a new peer-to-peer wireless network, goes live in Austin. Napster creator Sean Fanning's new company, he's at the helm there. I'm sure you can read all about him. Helium flips the switch on an innovative wireless network for the Internet of Things. And then Fortune magazine, cryptocurrency, Internet of Things, scooters, a zany plan to take on telecom, blockchain startup lands Lime Scooters and Nestle as clients. And of course that was just the start of things for Helium back in 2019. So the big question, what can you earn? Well, as we've said, the hotspots are deployed to you at no cost to you. And the reason for that is, as we've said, is the company wishes to retain control over to which areas these hotspots are deployed. And there's a reason for that. Based on your location, you could be in one of three categories. The first is where the area is just too dense. That's unlikely to be the situation for you unless you're in a very big built-up city, for example, central London. But that doesn't prevent you from taking part in the referral program. If you're in one of those locations, the company simply won't deploy a hotspot there. The reason being is you will diminish the capacity of earning potential for other hotspots in the area, and that will basically damage the incentivized referral program for everybody in that space. However, you are able to refer other people, or if you have alternative properties where you can deploy hotspots to in an area that is either partially developed or completely underdeveloped. So that brings me to the second category, which is where there are no hotspots at all. In that situation, your virtual mining assessment will show 0 as the potential earning capacity from your device, because it's not able to interrogate any in the immediate area to work out what the earning potential for you might be, and it will work on those averages. So in effect, when you submit your address, either to the person that's referred you or yourself through your back office if you've registered, IHub Global are scoring your address. So in that situation where there are no hotspots, we will help you to develop your area with placing and growing that network in clusters of 6. Ideally, these devices should not be placed within 300 meters of each other, but certainly the sweet spot zone, which you can see mapped out on the Helium Tracker app, which we will teach you how to use, will show you where these devices are best placed. And you can do that by referring people that you know, family or friends, or simply going to talk to people in the local area, be it businesses or homeowners, depending on your method of spreading your referral. But it's very easy to do that, and we've effectively used social media to do that in areas with lots of different people that have connected with us thus far. And the third category that you're likely to be in, and I'd say around 40% of people are in this category, there will be some hotspots in the area. There will be some growth already, either within what's called the sweet spot that I've referred to, or not too far away. And in that situation, your virtual mining assessment will be looking at what the average of HNT generation is for each of those devices, and will be scoring that hotspot location for the purposes of telling you what potential earnings you could make also. So in this example, you can see there, just a reminder, no monthly fee for you or anyone else. Let's just say very conservatively 50 HNT a month is what you could be earning from your hotspot. In other areas that could be 50 HNT a week, depending on the density of hotspots where they are plugged in. So if you took that as just an example of a very average figure, There are lots of hotspots, particularly around the country in the UK where we are at the moment, that are doing much more than that. And as I've said already, each of the hotspots can be independently interrogated, and you can look at what they're doing, what they're earning through the helium.com website, which we can show you also, if not through the back office Helium Tracker app. So let's take a look at helium HNT price predictions between 20 and 2025. So HNT started out with a dollar value equivalent of 25 cents. So that's 25 cents per HNT token. You remember from the last slide we gave some very conservative example figures of what your average located IHub hotspot could be generating. Anything between 50 HNT a month or 50 HNT a week, somewhere in that range. So look at these figures now. 2020, those HNT tokens were valued at 25 cents. You can do the maths as we go along. In June 2020, HNT was worth around $2.37 in US dollar equivalent value. And it was predicted to be between $5 and $10 within the next few months, which it was. Well, what about today? We are August 2021. Let's have a look at that. So today, when I took this screenshot, HNT was valued at $19.17 at this point in time on the 11th of August 2021. If you're looking at this video at some point in the future, you'll be able to look up and independently check what the dollar value equivalent of HNT is on that date. What about the future? We can look at the predictions there. Again, independent predictions following the path of other cryptocurrencies. In 2022, December, the end of the year, it's predicted to be at $71. So each HNT token, $71. And by the end of 2025, $256 per HNT token. So I refer you back to the example I've just spoken of, between 50 HNT tokens per week to 50 HNT tokens per month. You can see where your hotspot could sit within that earning capacity potential, not just today, but also in the future. And we'll come back to another example of those maths a little later on. So remember, these particular hotspots are designed specifically for IHub, and they are earning rewards in the way in which I've explained for showing proof of coverage on the network, which is expanding the network for Helium to be able to go and sell to corporates and eventually individuals to be able to use for various different means of connecting devices to this low range, long range network, which is slightly different to Wi-Fi for many reasons, much more compatible with devices to communicate with the internet. So let's have a look at these individually. So CalChip devices, one of the approved devices of handful, probably 8 or 9 that can be connected to the Helium network. And they are the ones that are being provided to those who can deploy them in the appropriate areas. So it's a passive income generator. Of course, it's recession proof, not a network marketing company. There's no recruiting required. There's no monthly fees. Of course, it's pandemic proof, and it generates Helium as a reward for appearing on. So what's the power of leverage, and why is that referral program there for you? Well, IHub Global are providing you with a free hotspot. We've already talked about the value of those, anything between $460 to $1,500. And of course, you could go and purchase your own hotspot tomorrow and earn 100% of everything that it generates you. However, that might be a bar to entry, and often is for people like you and me. So let's have a look at it another way. What are IHub doing? They're saying, well, we're going to make sure that the network is protected by not deploying devices to areas that would diminish the earning capacity of others on the network. We're giving you that hotspot for free in pursuance of that end. So what they will do is profit share the revenue that hotspot makes with you. So you will earn a percentage from what your own hotspot makes, but they've also said to you, okay, you can earn a commission on all of those others that you help to place. You remember we spoke earlier about that incentivized plan, not only to have your own hotspot switched on and working, but also to refer others, not just in your own area where it's viable, but also in other potentially new areas to expand the network. So they give you the opportunity to earn a commission on those other referrals in addition to earning off of your own hotspot. Remember, no risk to you. You're not being asked to part with any money. That's the offer that IHub Global are making to you. So look at it this way. I certainly would rather have 5, 10, 15% upwards of commission on hundreds or even thousands of hotspots than 100% of my own. It just makes mathematical and logical sense. So let's look at a very conservative example of what your earnings could be like from a properly placed earning device. As we said before, your devices, your hotspots are rewarded with HNT tokens for showing proof of coverage and transferring data over the Helium network. Let's take a look exactly at how those figures can work out for you. So let's say you accumulate 1,000 HNT tokens by December 2022. So we used that example of each hotspot generating a conservative 50 HNT tokens per month. Those HNT tokens have a dollar equivalent. They have a value on the traded market of HNT of helium. So let's say 50 HNT a month, that will put you, for example, at 600 HNT per year. We're now summer 2021, so you could see how by the end of next year, with that conservative figure of 50 HNT, you could have reached 1,000 by December next year. Well, looking at the predictions, the increase in the value of HNT, as we've just seen a few moments ago, I will conservatively devalue what the predictions are for HNT for the end of 2022. I'm not going to tell you what those are. You can go and look at them yourself. But let's say it's $40 by the end of 2022, just $40. Times your 1,000 HNT by 40, and your HNT by the end of next year could then be 40,000 US dollars equivalent of HNT tokens. Let's say you've accumulated 10,000 with the expansion of your network through the referral program, which sounds a lot but really isn't that difficult as long as you're talking to people and simply sharing the video on this page. Let's assume the predicted value of HNT by the end of 2025 then is $100. Divide that 10,000 HNT by 100 and you could see there that possible HNT value at that point would be $1 million. Now, I know these sound like big figures, but believe me, I have reduced them significantly for some of the predictions. Go right ahead and check the figures for yourself, but I'm sure you can see, even if you were to halve these figures further, there is a very viable opportunity to earn a very legitimate income by getting involved in hosting your own hotspot and then making those referrals so that you can earn a commission also. And just to add, at this point you're probably asking, well, how do I receive this HNT or this dollar equivalent? Well, you would be downloading the Helium app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. Nothing to do with IHub Global. Helium have their own app. You can go and check it out. You pair that to your hotspot and then your hotspot communicates what mining rewards it has received, and then the withdrawal of that HNT dollar equivalent happens through your e-wallet with IHub Global, with Helium via IHub Global, and you'll probably see in some of the more recent trainings or those coming up that there will be a payment card to which you can also withdraw some of that currency also, but I'll leave that to IHub to explain in their upcoming updates. So where are we now? That's the end of this short presentation. Just to leave you with a thought. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. As you can see here, this is something that's happening around you. Go do your due diligence, go look up helium, go see what they're doing, and make a decision whether you want to be a part of what's going on at no risk to you, or whether you want to simply watch somebody else take advantage of it around you. Reserve your hotspot, make sure you get back to the person that sent you to this video, and thank you for your time. Just a reminder, there are no income promises in respect of IHub Global or Helium at all, and you can go and independently, publicly interrogate and access all of the Helium hotspots on the Helium network via helium.com.